The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the quiet of an early morning, but a deep, suffocating stillness. My alarm was supposed to go off at 6:15, but my eyes snapped open a minute early. 6:14 a.m. The numbers on my digital clock glowed red, but the last digit wasn't blinking. It was just there, frozen. I sat up, a weird feeling crawling up my spine. My ceiling fan, which usually hummed a gentle lullaby, was eerily quiet. Its blades were caught in mid-rotation, 3 perfect unmoving sickles against the pale morning light. I swung my legs out of bed. The floorboards didn't creak. I walked to the window and pulled back the curtain. On the street below, everything was a perfect, silent photograph. A car was halfway through a turn, its front wheels angled sharply. A flock of pigeons was suspended in the air, a chaotic sculpture of feathers and beaks. A man walking his dog was frozen mid-stride, the leash a perfect, straight line between his hand and the dog's collar. Time had stopped, completely. A wave of panic washed over me. I stumbled out of my room and into the kitchen. "Mum," I called out, my voice sounding strangely loud in the absolute quiet. There she was, standing by the counter, a pitcher of orange juice tilted in her hand. A single, perfect teardrop of juice hung suspended in the air, inches from the lip of a glass. Her eyes were open, fixed on the glass, her expression one of casual morning concentration. She didn't move, she didn't breathe. "Mum," I yelled, shaking her shoulder. It was like shaking a statue. She was solid, unyielding. My heart hammered against my ribs. What was happening? Was I dreaming? I pinched my arm, hard. The sting was real, sharp and undeniable. This was not a dream. For some reason, Arif was the only thing in the world that was still moving. I had to get out, had to see if this was everywhere. I threw on a hoodie and shoes, my movements clumsy with adrenaline, and burst out the front door. The air outside was thick, heavy, like the whole world was holding its breath. I ran down the porch steps and onto the sidewalk, my footsteps echoing unnaturally in the dead silence. I scanned the street, my eyes darting from the frozen cars to the motionless trees, to the people caught in everyday moments, like mannequins in a city-sized display. And then I saw it. Far down the block, almost at the vanishing point where the road curved, stood a figure. It was tall, shrouded in what looked like a long dark coat, even though the morning was warm. Unlike everything else, it was standing perfectly upright, not caught in an action. It was just standing there, and it was facing me. A cold dread, colder than the morning air, trickled down my back. Someone else was moving, or rather, someone else was not asterisk frozen. "Hey," I shouted, my voice cracking. "Hey, can you hear me?" The figure didn't respond. It just stood there, a dark silhouette against the backdrop of a paralyzed world. I took a hesitant step to my left, trying to get a better angle, to see if it was just a strange statue I'd never noticed before. As my foot touched the pavement, the figure mirrored my movement. It slid to its left, a smooth, unnatural glide. It was still perfectly facing me. My blood ran cold. "Who are you?" I screamed, my voice raw with terror. No answer, just silence, and that unblinking stare from a distance too great to make out any features. A primal instinct took over. I turned and ran. I sprinted in the opposite direction, my lungs burning, my sneakers slapping against the asphalt. I didn't look back. I just ran, pumping my arms, weaving between frozen cars and petrified pedestrians. After what felt like an eternity, I risked a glance over my shoulder. The street behind me was empty. The figure was gone. A small, hysterical laugh escaped my lips. Relief. Maybe I'd imagined it. Stress. Shock. My mind was playing tricks on me. I slowed to a walk, catching my breath, and decided to cut through a small park to get my bearings. The park was just as surreal. A frisbee hung in the air between two friends. A dog was frozen mid-lip, its mouth open in a silent bark. I walked down a winding path, past the silent playground, and emerged on the other side, onto a different street. My relief vanished in a heartbeat. There it was again, at the far end of this new street, the same tall, dark figure, standing, watching, facing me. It was impossible. I had run in the opposite direction. There was no way anyone could have gotten here before me, especially not moving at a normal pace. My heart felt like it was going to explode. This wasn't a person. This was something else. Something that didn't follow the rules. Panic gave way to a chilling, desperate curiosity. I had to know what this thing was. I started walking towards it, my legs feeling like lead. With every step I took, The distance between us seemed to stretch, the figure remaining a far-off silhouette. It was playing a game with me. I ducked into an alleyway, my mind racing. I tried to flank it, to surprise it. I navigated the narrow passage, my shoulder brushing against the cold brick walls, and came out on a parallel street. I peered around the corner, my breath held tight in my chest, and there it was. Not at the end of the street this time, but right there, standing in the doorway of a closed bookstore, maybe 50 feet away, still watching me. It was already here. It was always one step ahead. Now that it was closer, I could make out more details. The coat was ragged, dark gray, and seemed to absorb the light around it. There was no face visible, just a deep, dark shadow where a head should be. I felt a magnetic pull, an awful compulsion to get closer, to see what was beneath that shadow. I took a step. It remained still. Another step. It didn't move. As I closed the distance, a strange sense of familiarity washed over me. The way it stood, its posture. There was something about it that tugged at a distant memory. The closer I got, the more the feeling intensified. It was like looking at a distorted reflection. 20 feet away, 10 feet, I could hear a faint, low hum now, a sound that seemed to vibrate in my bones. 5 feet away, I was close enough to reach out and touch it. My hand trembled as I raised it. The shadow under the hood seemed to deepen, to swirl like smoke. I had to see its face. I had to know who had been haunting me in this silent world. My fingers were inches from the hood when I saw it. The shadow shifted, and for a fraction of a second, the light caught a feature. A scar, a small, crescent-shaped scar just above the right eyebrow. My scar, the one I got when I fell off my bike when I was 7. My blood turned to ice. It wasn't a stranger. It was me, an older, taller, terrifying version of me. As the realization hit me, the world roared back to life. The hum of the ceiling fan from my bedroom, the distant sound of traffic, the chirping of birds, the shouting of people, the frozen teardrop of orange juice splashed into the glass in my kitchen. The dog in the park landed with a happy yelp. Everything, everywhere, unfroze at the exact same moment. I was standing on the sidewalk, my hand outstretched, staring into the face of my doppelganger. The shadows receded completely, revealing my own face, but aged, tired, and filled with a profound sadness. And then, it spoke. Its voice was a low, gravelly whisper, a distorted echo of my own. "You weren't supposed to wake up yet."